when Congress wrote the Patriot Act, they wrote a part of it called Section 215, which the NSA and many of these private contractors, like Booz Allen that Ed Snowden worked for, have interpreted in the broadest possible context to say, basically, we can spy on anybody, anywhere, anytime, or at least we can gather their metadata. You know, we can find out who's talking to whom and all this kind of stuff, and keep it forever and all this kind of thing. And they are asserting that this was actually written into the Patriot Act. Now, the guys who wrote the Patriot Act, like Republican Congressman Jim Sensenbrenner, who was arguably one of the lead authors of it, have come right out and said, out loud in front of God and everybody, we never intended for Section 215 of the Patriot Act to allow the NSA to do what Ed Snowden has proven they are doing. We never planned on that. But the administration and the Justice Department and the DOD and the NSA, they've taken it and run with it. Well, here's where it gets interesting. Section 215 expires on June 1st. And so Republicans in Congress, and I say Republicans in Congress because they have the votes right now to pass pretty much anything they want in the House of Representatives. They have a substantial majority there, and they can pass most things through the Senate. I mean, the Democrats still have the ability to filibuster legislation in the Senate. But the Republican legislators have been putting together basically not even a new and improved version of Section 215. Mitch McConnell is talking about a clean renewal. In other words, let's just take what was there and just say, yep, we're going to salute that until 2020. Now comes the wrench in the gears, as it were, the monkey wrench in the gears. The ACLU has filed suit against this, the American Civil Liberties Union, and said that this represents a violation of our Fourth Amendment constitutionally protected right to privacy. And a 3-judge panel representing the New York Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals unanimously declared that the program, the stuff that Snowden revealed, what the NSA is up to, was simply not authorized by federal law. Now, they didn't go so far as to say it's not constitutional, but they didn't have to. I mean, if you simply say, the law does not let you do this, then you have to stop doing it. It doesn't have to be unconstitutional. It's just illegal. It's like, the Constitution doesn't say thou shalt not commit murder, but we still put people in jail for it. This Judge Gerald Lynch, along with Judges Robert Sack and Judge Vernon Broderick, and I'm sorry I don't know the background of these 3 judges, but wrote in the decision, he said this controversial program exposed publicly 2 years ago by Edward Snowden exceeds the scope of what Congress has authorized. The interpretation urged by the government would require a drastic expansion of the term relevance, not only with respect to Section 215, but also as that term is construed for purposes of subpoenas and a number of national security-related statutes to sweep further than those statutes have ever been thought to reach. In other words, this is just massive overreach on the part of the federal government. Maybe General Boykin has something there, right? And so we'll see where this goes. But this is going to end up, I believe, before the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, Mitch McConnell is trying to reauthorize Section 215 and let it stand until the year 2020, which is pretty bizarre. Now, Senator Pat Leahy, who co-authored Section 215 and who, along with Sensenbrenner and Mike Lee, the Republican from Utah, have said, no, that's not what we planned with Section 215. This is a comment by Tea Party Republican Mike Lee in the Senate and relatively progressive Democrat, senior senator from Vermont, Patrick Leahy, who used to be a federal prosecutor, by the way. Pat Leahy is one of those guys. I've been in the room with him a couple of times at campaign events and whatnot when I lived in Vermont. And he is so sober. I mean, he's a nice guy and he tells jokes and he's a friendly guy, but he's like the archetypal federal prosecutor who's in it for justice. Pat Leahy believes in justice. I don't know what Mike Lee believes in, but he joined Pat Leahy in writing this statement about Section 215. And I quote, "The dragnet collection of Americans' phone records is unnecessary and ineffective, and now a federal appellate court has found that the program is illegal. Congress should not reauthorize a bulk collection program that the court has found to violate the law. We," that would be Mike Lee and Pat Leahy, "we will not consent to any extension of this program." By the way, Pat Leahy is the ranking member. He used to be the chairman, but now the Republicans control the Senate, so he's the number 2 guy on the Senate Judiciary Committee. You know, it has oversight over a lot of this stuff. "We will not consent to any extension of this program. The House is poised to pass the bipartisan USA Freedom Act of 2015 next week, and the Senate should do the same. We urge the majority leader to bring the USA Freedom Act up for a vote next week after the House passes it." Now, that's a piece of legislation that would actually dial back Section 215. So, and this is that interesting alliance between Tea Party Republicans like Justin Amash of Michigan and very, very progressive Democrats. And I don't know right off the top of my head the specific names of any of them who are supporting the USA Freedom Act, so I don't want to just pull names out of the air or something. But this is pretty remarkable.